Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I just want to give a shout out for Chris DiPaolo, WBLQ over there. We're talking, Chris, about binge working, FYI. Just wanted you to know today, Victoria's topic today is called binge working. The 24/7 work epidemic with my co-host, also the host of Soul Suitcase, Victoria Coen, joining me here today. This is great to be able to have real life examples, real living us showing up here. And what I said before is that there are I call them side effects. I don't know if the side effects is a good term, but forgetting important things like for what we were going to do today. I mean, everybody says, oh, you're way too busy, but too busy doing what, right? How does that happen? So let's talk a little bit about what you've discovered and give us a little definition of binge working so people can say, is that me or not?
Okay. Well, yes, there are side effects, definitely, in terms of our emotions, our health, our well-being, and even our work productivity. But we'll get into that in a minute. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of unpacking this soul suitcase with a few statistics before I get into defining what this topic really is about. So think about this, Pat. Americans only use 51% of their vacation time. 51%. They leave the rest on the table. And, you know, in this kind of workplace environment, we either use it or we lose it. If you don't take your vacation time by the end of the year, you lose it. Oftentimes it doesn't carry over. And people still choose to lose it in favor of chaining themselves to their desks to try to get promoted, to try to maintain some kind of, status in the workplace and hopes of monetary gain. But it's crazy making to leave all of that vacation untaken. Also,
I'm just writing a note.
Oh, note to self.
I'm writing a note. I don't even have vacation. So my note is, this is a big, as my friend Chelsea Handler would say, oopsie.
Oopsie. Okay. So then Americans are working an average of 8.5 more hours a week now than they did in 1979. And 8.5 hours doesn't sound like a lot, and probably a lot more people are working more than that even still. But it's so hard to get off of that digital hamster wheel. Mm-hmm. In 1979, we used to close the door, walk out of our offices, and go home. We didn't have all the technology. We didn't have immediate access to email and all of that back then. So we could really turn off the lights, close our office door, and go home. Now there is no such thing as closing the office door, turning the lights out, and going home, because we are on 24/7, and that's part of this crazy epidemic. Also, 35% of Americans are saying that they work weekends. I still think that's kind of a low percent in actuality. And a third of Americans are only getting 6 or less hours of sleep a night. So this all contributes to this crazy workaholism that's going on. One last little factoid here for you, that those who work more than 10 hours a day have a 60% higher rate of having heart attacks. Think about that. So there's really a consequence, or many consequences to this. So let me break it down. The difference between binge working, workaholism, and working hard. Mm-hmm. Let me break it down. Binge working was kind of coined by Bob Sullivan in January when he did an expose on NBC News on binge working. And he said that we're working longer hours, sleeping less, and pumping ourselves up with energy drinks and caffeine just to keep our motors running. He said this is a recipe for disaster, and it really is, as we'll keep discovering. So an example he gave was of a 24-year-old gal who was a copyright editor. And she was bragging on her Twitter to her friends that she had just finished working 30 hours straight at the office. And within a few hours, she fell over and died. Now, granted, this is kind of a, extreme example, but it's not that rare.
I don't think it's that rare. I mean, I was talking with a doctor this morning, Dr. Amit Sood, And, he's got a gazillion hours of research on stress and the accumulated effects of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, if we look at what you're really break down, the magnitude of what you're talking about, and then we ask ourselves, okay, this is what we're doing, we're working. Then what if we leave here and we care for children or parents or, beloved ones or something like that? What if we do that? What if we are then of service at our churches and facilities, right? I mean, it seems to just pile it on.
Mm-hmm. Well, it does. And then I ask, how much quality time are we giving when we come home from these long hours of work and we have loved ones, we have children, we have these other service activities that we're involved in. And those people and situations often get crumbs.
Mm-hmm.
They get the crumbs because we pour our best selves into our work. Well, lucky company, or lucky, in my case, clients, or in your case, all the different irons you have in the fire, that they get your best self. But then at the end of the day, the people that we then interact with get crumbs.
Yeah. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back with Victoria Coen and me right here, Suitcase, right here on the Dr. Pat Show Network. We'll be right back.